Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, and welcome to another episode of Tea and Coffee with Paula and
Jay. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Early birds, you got the worm this morning. Good
how
morning,
you
everybody.
doing? How you doing?
All right, Joey. I don't know where that came from, but I liked it. I'm not gonna lie. Good morning.
Morning.
How's your energy level? Holding up?
Yeah. It's holding up. The body's getting a workout, and so it's been a little bit tired, but no, energy level's good. It just home stretch. It's within sight. There's like a few more days to go. So it's like, yeah. And now we're working in a more localized area for us, so less long distance driving. Not that we were driving long distance to begin with, really.
I was going to say, like,
but now we're closer to home, and just narrowing down of where our door knocking is going to be now.
Yeah, we started on west side,
West
we're moving over to
side.
the east side. Drop those little hand gestures. But yes, campaign, we're on the last few days, so this is going to be the big push. We're not the only ones doing a big push.
Nope.
Others are out there now knocking doors and leaving their flyers behind. So Brazeau County Division 6, it's hot, it's ready to go. People are absolutely having a good time getting to know everybody. And speaking of that, we had a nice evening. Actually, is there any update from the homestead? We did our sign thing that we put on top of the vehicle, built that. And yeah, all day yesterday was outside of the home.
Yeah. I think so. I can't think of anything. Wilbur's doing great, everyone. Wilbur as well.
Yeah. So from the homestead, we're doing well, getting ready. And the diesel heater works well.
Oh yeah, doing a great job.
Yeah,
I really recommend diesel heaters. Like it'll be our second winter using it, and it's worked a treat. Last year, and so far so good right now.
And we've applied for the diesel heating discount for
rebate, tax rebate, that type of thing. Because if you're in rural areas, if you're using the diesel heat for heating,
I mean just diesel for heating.
Diesel for heating, and not, let's say, for your farm machinery, things like that, you will get access to the discounted diesel that farmers get. The
red dyed fuel, and we don't even have a diesel vehicle, so absolutely, it's just for fuel. We're sticking to the rules, and we used a good chunk last year. Now we're added 2 more diesel heaters, so a total of 3, because we're now using the diesel heater for under heating. So for the trailer and for the studio, we're now under heating.
Yeah, and it'll do the job really nicely. It's fairly cost effective, and the machines run well.
So there's your update from the homestead. We're getting ready for some heat. Keep it hot.
Although we've got to check the temperatures, and we've got like decent temperatures during the day. We've got lots of sun, and then just really like maybe -1 at night. So I'll take that for middle of October.
Sounds to me like our last chance to get some projects done.
Yes.
And door knocking.
Yeah. Like everything will revert back to normal come Tuesday.
Yay. So yeah. All right. So we're getting back on track. That's right after the election.
Exactly.
Wow. How that worked out. We better get on to finishing up some of these projects, or it's going to be cold for my little fingers.
Yes. Yeah.
But we had a good time last night. So lots of door knocking yesterday. We got some flyers put out there, a whole bunch of them put out there yesterday. And met some good people. A previous candidate who ran, and who reminded us he only lost by 12 votes.
Yeah, that's
so every vote matters. Everybody out there. I'm sorry if you're tired that day. You got from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. to get to the cast your ballot, cast your vote. And some people were concerned. This came up during our meeting. We'll get to that in a second. But it came up at this particular election. They're going to create the voter registration list, so they're asking everybody to be prepared to go ahead and sign that. And some people were concerned, am I on the list already? How do I get on the list? What kind of ID do we need? And one of the questions that came out of our town hall last night was, I'm very new to the residency here in Buck Creek. I live in Buck Creek, but my ID hasn't been switched over yet. Is there anything I can do? And what it came down to is you need to bring some sort of ID that shows who you are, and then something that shows where you live.
Yeah.
And what it worked out to is bring your rental agreement.
Yeah.
Because your rental agreement is going to have the address, it's going to have your name on it, it's going to show who you are, and then you'll likely do an attestation. So basically swear that you're not lying, sign a little document, and then you'll get ready to vote.
Yeah, because they had no bills because their rent was all inclusive, so they had no utilities bill that had their name and address on it. So yeah, exactly. That you'd suggest you bring your rental agreement.
Yeah, and that they had. They're like, oh yeah, we have that. And it's got our name and the address on it. I'm like, perfect. So bring that, and we'll see what the officials say at the voting station. But if you want to vote, bring whatever you can that has your name, address, as much as you can. If you're not sure if you're on the list or not, and I'm sure you'll be able to get things sorted, and we'll get that vote in there. But last night was a fun time. You had a good time?
Yeah, I did. And just to highlight, it is, I just want to get the correct address. Yeah, so it's voterlink.ab.ca to check if you are on the list. Because again, this is not just for our neck of the woods. This is for Alberta as a whole. We have elections going on. So yeah, voterlink.ab.ca is to check if you are already listed down or registered.
Great link, and we'll get that into our chat and pop it up on a screen. Because today's episode is going to be all about the election. We've got some candidates joining us today, some incumbents and some new people and an acclaimed. Actually, that's what we got. We got 3 people, incumbent, a challenger, and acclaimed. So we're going to have the whole spectrum of types of candidates for you here today to chat about the election coming up, why they are running, why they are fighting for you, and this includes council and school board.
Yep, we have an acclaimed trustee for Ward 1. She'll be joining us later on this morning.
Excellent. I'm excited about this. And this is also part of my campaign and your campaign is to reach out to the people that we're going to be working with, reach out and help, because we think getting out to vote is very important. We want to ensure that as many voices are out there. We had Glenn Gunderson on for a whole episode, and we reached out to basically everybody to come on this episode. A lot of people weren't available for whatever reason. I'm sure they're busy knocking on doors and getting ready for that. But we do have 3 wonderful guests joining us today.
Yep. Yeah. So it'd be good to see them and hear why they're running in the different areas that they are. What prompted them to do that?
So let me applaud you, because yesterday you did a fantastic job. Is that your first time sitting in front of a larger audience, talking about yourself and what you're doing? Because you're not normally that type of person that sits there and talks about yourself. And you did very well. You're a natural.
Yeah, cheers, my dears. I know I've done public speaking before, but I don't know. At the end of the day, you have to get over that hurdle. If you want to represent people, you've got to speak to people. And so that's what I felt that I tried to do yesterday, and I'll be doing it again tonight. Salt and Pepper, 7 p.m. See you there.
Bit of a natural. No notes. I guess straight from your heart, straight from your head.
Yeah.
And you handled the questions very well. And there was at least one person who showed up specifically to listen to you and hear from you, because he was very concerned about the school division and the people running. And he even made the comment, other than you, there's very little information out there about this school division candidates.
Yeah, I can't comment on what my fellow
others.
What others are presenting or using as part of their campaign. I just know that you need to get information out there to encourage people to get interested and also to vote. And then last stage is to vote for me.
I think you did a great job. So I certainly think we walked away with some support. There's still some undecided, and that's great because they're open-minded and they're out there collecting information and meeting people. So that's good. So this is going to be an interesting election. It happens on the 20th, but the results aren't expected until the 24th. So we'll see how we do by Thursday. Now, if you're going to the Edmonton thing, just kind of take a sidetrack here. If you're going to the Edmonton thing on the 25th for the legislature, I highly recommend you go. But we have a double commitment that day. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it, because we need to be in Buck Creek, because we're now part of the community association. We are assisting with getting the dinner on, the fall dinner. So if you're in the area, come and hang out with us there for the fall dinner. But we have a commitment to our community that we're going to keep following through. Our hearts and our support will be in Edmonton, because that rally is going to be very important. But this is more than just an election for us. We are focused on making sure that we assist our community in every way, shape, or form we can, not just once every 4 years do we stand up and put our head up. We want to be active, and that will include the 25th of October.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so TBD, to be determined on really what we're going to do, because community is important, province is important too. So we'll see what we decide. We got time. We got time.
And my mind is on a dear friend. We got some news last night. Our dear friend, we won't go into the details of who, because privacy is important. The family is dear to us, but he's in hospital. So my mind's kind of there right now. sending lots of prayers and well wishes. So if you want to join us on that, go ahead and send your prayers and well wishes to the friends of the Levines.
Yeah.
And we'll keep you posted on that one because we definitely want a speedy recovery and to get back to what he does.
Yep.
So we love that man. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the news because we do have a very busy day, including on the news side of things.
What's going on?
How's the chat today? How's the early birds?
Early birds are good. So yeah, so VoteLink check there. And then for Miles here, if you are not registered on VoteLink, make sure you take your proof of residency to the voting official. Yes.
Yep. So bring whatever you can. So if you're fresh and your ID hasn't changed over yet, bring your rental agreement, bring your banking documents, bring your
credit
utility
card
bill,
statement, something. That's got your
anything
name
that
and
has
address.
your name and address on it.
Yeah,
And
there it
no, your aunt's welcome to the neighborhood card won't suffice. You have to bring something that's a little bit more institutional, really.
Yeah, just as a heads up as well, if you do go to votelink.ab.ca, well, the first time I went there, the page that didn't exist. Just try again, and then it loaded up fine. So there it is, votelink.ab.ca for my fellow Albertans.
Thank you very much. All right, so we had a great interview with Bathsheba Vandenberg. We went extended for the local side of things. So if you're not there, go ahead and give that a sign up. Go and join us in the local side of things. It is how we support ourselves here on the show. That community is growing. Great chats, and you don't see their chats pop up on the live stream. There's a couple of reasons. There's a tech reason, but it also is a little bit more private. So we have some pretty spicy conversations in there. And if you want to join that, please do. All right. So we had a very busy news day yesterday. So our good friend Wiretap, who's on tomorrow morning. So you'll be able to join Jason tomorrow as we dive into things like digital ID, Antifa, especially Antifa. He's really researching quite well on that one. How Canada should be designating them as terrorists, and definitely will expose that a lot more. But here on the digital ID, he's trying to remind everybody because on Glenn Beck's show, there's a bit of a reporter whistleblower saying digital ID is coming, but they keep the powers that be kind of realize we're on to them. Okay, so a lot of you are waking up and saying no to digital ID. So they're switching the name. It's coming in different ways. So in Alberta, the My Alberta Digital Health app, or the One ID, or the Alberta ID, whatever you want to call it, it's still the same thing. So as they're moving us away from plastic and paper and cards and getting us into using our phone to go ahead and store these wallets, and everything's consolidated under One ID, that is digital ID. No matter how you label it or what you want to call it, that is digital ID. When they can attach your ID to something like a GPS locator, you're digital. Okay. And a lot of people don't fully understand the consequence to this, but this is a very steep and slippery slope towards social credit score tracking and being able to implement those systems. These are not new. These do exist around the world, in China and other places. They've already started to implement this. If you don't visit grandma enough, or you don't cross at a crosswalk, you're going to find out pretty quickly that you're going to lose points. And these things will affect things like your ability to get loans and be able to get governmental services. We don't have them in Canada yet, but this is exactly where it leads. These are
coming soon.
Very steep, slippery slope. So go give Wiretap Media CA a follow. Keep on top of this like we are, because it is important. And this was something that came up in the conversations yesterday at the town hall. People are aware that on a municipal level, there's a lot of global interest that are putting their fingers into our pie and trying to do things like change how land is allocated, who has control, bringing things like UNDRIP, a lot of other municipal things like ICLEI to municipal levels. So we are aware of them. We will resist them and make sure that you're aware as well. So thank you to Wiretap for bringing that information forward. Really appreciate it. Daisy, he's still doing Operation Bin Watching now. So they do have, citizen journalists are amazing. So they have people all over the place watching the roads coming into the ostrich farm in BC and to see what's going on. And one of the things they're keeping an eye on are these bins. So they keep coming in with bins, whether they're full or not, it's hard to say. But these are the kind of things that the citizen journalist and independent journalists like Daisy, I call him an independent journalist because he's now accredited as an independent journalist, which is great. And a citizen journalist is somebody who picks up their camera and points it at something and captures it. This is something that our book or my book, Bearing Witness, will be assistance for, and it's free. Remember, we're not plugging it to make money. It is free. You can go to levineshow.com/books and get a free copy, a PDF copy, because it helps you understand how to stay safe, how to prepare yourself for what you may run into, like there's vicarious trauma. So if you're seeing something like a bird dying, you're going to feel emotions and it's going to bother you. So there's a whole chapter about how to deal with that. And then also how to make sure that you're not breaking any laws, and anything that you capture can and will be used in a court of law. So go ahead and grab that book for free. I know Daisy has endorsed it before, because in the back there's even a checklist of things to just make sure that you're careful with. Thank you to Daisy for doing Operation Bin Watching as we see what's going in and out. Our friend Keith Wilson kind of highlighted Mark Carney. He's a funny guy. That he's not a new government. He's the current government, new face. Maybe he should say the new face of the Canadian government instead of keep referring to the current government now as the new government.
Nope.
Nothing new about this guy. He's been behind the scenes for quite some time. He's Trudeau's puppet, and now I'm just waiting for Mark Carney to have a kiss with Katy Perry on a yacht. That might be next.
So gross.
But what I wanted to highlight on this particular one, though, is Mark Carney, and this is my post that comes up next, is kind of acting like, Stellantis is at arm's reach. It's just a company who's removing some business from Canada, and he's going to kind of stand up publicly and say, hey, guys, you shouldn't let the U.S. tariffs scare you away and stuff like that. However, if you check out my post to this one, kind of call him out. Mark, at this stage, he's not Mr. Carney or PM Carney to me. He's just Mark. Mark, you have direct connections to Stellantis via the Freedom of Mobility Forum. This is a World Economic Forum platform that you and your comrades created that proudly includes Stellantis. So there's a lot of connections to Stellantis, WEF, and as we all know, Mark Carney is one of the main foundation members of the WEF. He's not even hiding this. I continue here. We also know that Chrystia Freeland has the ear of Stellantis. She testified that she received calls from them at the Public Order Emergency Commission. Remember, you were the advisor for Trudeau at the time, talking about taking a heavy hand. Oh, wait, there we go. You were the advisor for Trudeau at the time about taking a heavy hand and freezing bank accounts. I suspect you want Stellantis to leave because bankruptcy for Canada is your plan to force us to accept International Monetary Fund loans. God help us. All right, so this is something we've been tracking for, over 2 years now. Carney was going around the globe talking about consolidating countries. Digital currency was one of his big things he was pushing, his credit, carbon credit program. His green initiatives, all of these are coming out of his WEF UN connections. This will be way before he came back to Canada to lead us into that doom. But the International Monetary Fund is a red flag I've been raising for quite some time because it's a bit of a scam. What they do is they allow or force your country to be into dire straits where you take these loans, and then these loans come with a lot of strings attached, especially if you start to default. And what they do is they basically take over your country and force you in a bunch of different ways. So somebody asked me, Canadian Chris, so thank you very much for the comment. This isn't the first time I've heard about IMF loans. Would you go into more detail on how they work? I can't seem to find a simple overview except that they seem bad with no details. Where do we go to get this info? So it took some time to break it down. Because we have a fantastic example. There's many. Like if you want to go through Africa countries, there's many examples, but a more recent one from what you would consider a Western country was Greece. So here's a breakdown of what happened to Greece when IMF bailed them out. And I call this a blueprint for the globalist system on the Western countries, and Canada could be next. Because all it really takes is a bailout, and then you're into this problem. So here's a concise bullet point summary of the controls the IMF imposed on Greece and the costs that followed. IMF controls on Greece. Austerity mandate. Deep cuts to public spending, wages, and pensions to achieve fiscal surplus. Tax overhauls, higher VAT, so value add tax. That's a European thing, but just like GST here. reduces exemptions and stricter tax collection, so tax the way out of it. Privatization drive, so forces sale or lease of national assets, utilities, and infrastructure. This is one of the main things that these globalists are after because they're the ones that buy it up. It's their buddies, it's their companies, it's their asset management firms like Brookfield and BlackRock that buy these up. So they absolutely want to try and gut the nations and privatize their assets, including utilities. Labor market reforms, easier layoffs, reduce collective bargaining power, lower minimum wages. Put your hand up if you think those are great ideas. Pension restructuring, benefits reductions, and raise retirement ages. Somebody pushed back and said the CPP is safe.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's already underwater. Okay, it's already, they're already hiding some of the problems with CPP. No, it's not safe. Oversight by, I don't know how to pronounce this though. Trokia?
Where is it highlighted?
Right here.
Trokia.
Okay, yeah. I'm pretty good. Not bad. But this is a coalition. Every major policy required external approval before implementation. How would you like that, Canada? A globalist organization approving any of the policies that we want to put forward? Oh, that sounds like a bad idea. Primary surplus targets. Greece had to maintain budget surpluses for decades before they can get out of the loan. Banking sector control. This is where Carney is an expert, okay? His fingerprints are all over this. IMF supervised recapitalizations, mergers, and closures. So basically centralizing the banks even more.
Yeah.
Okay, so the smaller ones were merged and recapitalization requirements. He's always trying to do some of this, especially when it comes to oil and gas industry and investments there. Capital controls, restrictions on withdrawals and money transfers to prevent bank runs. So there you are, folks. One step away from a bank account freeze is a bank account restrictions.
Yeah.
So they implemented that. So people were limited on what they can take out. Long-term fiscal supervision, again with Carney. He can't wait for this. He's probably going, excellent. Even after bailouts ended, Greece remained under enhanced surveillance. Put your hands up if you like any of those. Okay. Yep. Now, what was the cost to Greece? Because those were the requirements of the IMF, the controls that the IMF put in place. So the cost to Greece, economic collapse, GDP fell by over 25%. So it's a quarter of their production, one of the deepest recessions in modern European history. So you just have to go through some of the pictures of what Greece looked like after it just fell apart. And people don't talk about this. The media doesn't bring this up a lot.
Yeah. Well, because people still holidayed there because Greece is a Mediterranean destination for a lot of Europe.
Sure, but that would have been resorts that were very controlled. You didn't get to see the rest of the country. They probably didn't even let you get everywhere.
Yeah.
Debt explosion. Debt to GDP ratio soared above 170% despite austerity measures were put in place. Mass unemployment. You like that one? Overall jobless rate exceeded 25%. So that's for everybody. And then youth was over 50%. Poverty surge, millions pushed below the poverty line. Social safety nets gutted. That's exactly how they did. They basically cut everything and pushed people into poverty and unemployment. But they called that responsible. Why? Because they wanted their loan repaid. And keep in mind, if you don't repay these loans, there's major consequences, not just this, but military becomes something that is on the table because they will come in and replace the government. Health crisis, hospital funding cuts, medicine shortages, and increased mortality rates. Wow. We already have a fragile system.
Yeah.
We don't need that. Brain drain, and of course, hundreds of thousands of young professionals immigrated. So they left Greece and went somewhere else. Of course they would. Lost sovereignty. Greece ceded key budgetary and policy powers to foreign creditors. Lovely. Can you imagine if you owed a MasterCard or Visa some money and they came in and took care of your budget for you until they were paid back? That's what we're talking about here, just on a country level. Political upheaval. Years of protests, riots, and collapse of traditional parties. Now, one of those we're not too sad about. Traditional party collapse. Maybe we'll take that one. That might be one silver lining, but the rest of it is certainly not good. The people were upset. They were pushed into poverty and unemployment, and they saw their country just get gutted by international.
Through no control of their own, it was done to them.
And here's how and why. The IMF profit, estimated 4.3 billion euros earned in interest from Greece's crisis loans. So not only did they have to pay it all back, there was interest.
Mhm.
So yeah, Canada, this is what we could be looking at if we get ourselves bailed out by the IMF. This is not a good thing. It's
No.
not conspiracy theory. Just look at the history of what happened to Greece.
Yeah, it's not going to be different for us. No, it'll be exactly the same template that'll be applied.
Correct. And it'll probably be, they're more efficient now. They can do it
Yeah.
quicker. And if they had things like digital ID and social credit and all of that in place, this would have been a lot faster for them, because this is before all of that. They were doing it more in a traditional system, but they had to consolidate the banks, merger, close down other small ones. Now you put central bank digital currency on top of this, digital ID on top of this, it becomes even more restrictive. You will be denied at the point of sale for stuff.
That's right.
Because that's the control that they can put into place. So we're raising this bell again. And again, it's not conspiracy theory, it's conspiracy fact, because Greece went through it. And other African nations have gone through it too. They understand what happens when IMF gets involved. It may seem great. Oh, we're going to come in and do some infrastructure with you. But then
their resources,
it's a bait and switch.
Their resources are taken, quite honestly, in order to pay back the loan. And that's what happens with a lot of African nations.
And future and pensions. And yes, so let's try and stay away from that one. Mia, our friend who was on a couple weeks ago, she's just really pushing back on some people who are in the medical student. They're getting into medicine, and yet they're still pushing affirming care, gender affirming care, which at this stage we all know is not healthcare.
No, it's Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, and I'm not going to show on the morning show some of the pictures of what happens to people when they go and get some of the surgery, like female to male. Large portions of the skin has been removed right down to the muscle. They're gonna have to live with that in order to create something that doesn't even function. But look, if you really care about people, especially when there's gender concerns, mental health concerns, there's other ways. And this was being done before 2014, where Mia highlighted that the pivot happened to ideology. And it's great to see some of our guests popping in. So we'll be with you guys all shortly.
In a couple minutes.
Yep. And so here's Wiretap tomorrow. So Andy Ngo, if you don't know who Andy Ngo is, he's an independent journalist in the U.S. who's doing a lot of coverage, getting into the weeds, just like Wiretap and Chris Dacey. But Andy was invited to the White House to talk to Trump about Antifa and bring some of his testimony and evidence forward. And Andy has reposted Wiretap because Wiretap's doing a great job here in Canada. So getting a boost from Andy is fantastic. And what we're looking for here is accountability in Canada to go ahead and follow suit with the United States on this particular issue, because Antifa is not just an ideology. It hides behind the ideology.
And Andy Ngo has the bruises.
Andy Ngo has been beaten. He's witnessed a lot of it. He's been threatened. He's aware of the assassination by Antifa in Portland. This is something that's worth taking serious in Canada. So it's unfortunate that at this stage, all of our politicians are ignoring this issue, but it's not about being anti-fascist, which is what the name claims to be. It's about supporting an ideology and forcing it down on people using violence. So this is why the U.S. has started to deconstruct that organization and follow the money on that one. And there's lots of international money, including George Soros, around that one.
Yep. Someone buys the bricks that they throw.
Absolutely. Somebody put those on the corners. All right, so our guests are here, and we're closing in on the 7:30 mark. So look, we already know they're punctual. They know how to do technology. They know how to get into the front of a camera and get ready to join us. So let's go ahead and bring them in. Good morning to Lord Dion. How are you doing, my friend?
Well, I think I'm okay. Have you heard something lately, or?
Actually, good stuff. We did a town hall yesterday, and you have a lot of support in Division 6. Some of the people that showed up yesterday wanted to highlight some of the activities you've done, the low taxes, how we do have low taxes here in Division 6. And you had a lot of support in our audience at the town hall yesterday.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Go ahead, Lori. I believe it's Lori Clark.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and add that there. Division 6 candidate, or Division 4 candidate. Sorry, my glasses make me need a re-prescription here. But good morning to Lori. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning. How are you guys?
Nice to see you. And I believe you came down to the candidate meeting in Division 6 that was held. Were you in the audience for that one?
Yes, I was.
Excellent. And nice to see you again today. And then we got Becky May. And maybe we should drop that chat thing. So Becky, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you. How are you guys?
Very good.
Very good.
So as we were talking about before we brought you all on, we actually have 3 fantastic candidates for this election. One is an incumbent, Bart. One is a challenger, Lori. And one is acclaimed, Becky. So we actually have the spectrum here of candidates and outcomes. So I'm looking forward to having a nice conversation with all of you and getting into what brings you not just to the Levine show or the Tea and Coffee with Paula and Jay this morning, but what got you to put your name on the ballot or redo it as well in Bart's case, and go ahead and have that conversation. So let's start with the incumbent, Bart. So I met you for the first time at the candidate, what do we call it, meeting? Meet your candidates. It was both Reeves, so you and Pat were there. Unfortunately, we can't get everybody on the show. A lot of people were busy, but the 3 of you made the time, so I appreciate that. And I met you for the first time, and I got to say, I was pretty impressed. I've lived here for 4 years, and you were open, honest, you were frank, you explained things well. When there was some pushback from the audience, for example, why was 71? Why did we redo that road? You actually had a very good answer that satisfied the audience. So I just wanted to say thanks for taking the time to talk with us before, during, and after that meeting, and happy to see you running again. Why are you running again? Would be my first question to you, my friend.
Why am I running? I don't know if that's totally the question. The main reason that I'm running is to try to create some certainty and some stability in our community. We've gone through a lot of change in the last 10 years. We've had the oil crisis. We had the Bighorn park that was going to sterilize a large part of the county and everything west, so that it would isolate the ability to put in any pipelines in the future. That was followed up with the COVID crisis, and that shook the community pretty hard. We didn't force people to get the shots. We left that up to them individual to make that kind of a decision. They wouldn't be fired if they didn't take the shot. So that helped to ease some pain, I guess, in that whole process. And then we had the just got a brain block here. We had the fires. We had the fires that tore through our community, and that shook up the community a bit. So I think people need some stability, some certainty in this uncertain world right now. So that's why I guess I ran. But I also ran because I was in politics before, from '92 to 2004. And I retired with the full support of my electorate. I'd like to say they fired me. So I thought if I ever got back in again, I wouldn't fool around. I would work hard to do as much as I can to help my fellow man. And that's the mission I'm still on right now. That's why we lowered the taxes within 6 months or so, 30%. It was to help with the crises that were going on at the time. And then you get another 30% off your taxes if you pay them on time. So that becomes an incentive that draws people to come to pay their taxes as soon as they possibly can. And we've actually increased our revenue because of that, because more people are moving in to share the load. And that seems to have worked out quite well as an experiment. Can you imagine how we'd all be if the province lowered their taxes 30%, or the federal government lowered their taxes 30%? Like it'd be significant. And so, I can breeze through what we did, but it has changed things significantly. We have people wanting to come to Brazeau because of the beauty, but a lot of them are saying we came here because of the tax concessions you guys are doing. One of the brokers said, go ahead.
No, those are 2 good reasons to come to Brazeau County. Absolutely. Yeah. It is beautiful. And I'll add a third one. The people here are great. Absolutely great in the community. And if you don't mind, Bart, I'm going to jump over to Lori, because Lori is running in Division 4, where Donna used to be the councillor, but Donna is not running this time around. So we have 2 new candidates coming fresh. So we're going to get a fresh face out of Division 4 on that council, and it could be Lori. So Lori, welcome to the show. And what caused you to go ahead and put your name on the ballot? Because it's very difficult to run a campaign and run for council. It's not a walk in the park. It's a stroll through the back fields and roads and gravel and all over the place to do it. So what caused you to go ahead and get involved on the county council level?
I've covered politics as a reporter and a columnist and a blogger for a long time. I specifically the county. I think there are some issues that we have to deal with directly that are maybe more pronounced now than they were before. And no, the application process for this job is somewhat time consuming. Yeah, it's probably the hardest job I've ever applied for.
Absolutely. That's the way I look at it too, is we're running for a position for our neighbors, but it's also a job interview. And
It is,
I remember when I was
yes.
a kid, I went to Subway and I did the job interview there, and they would ask all these questions like, what's your worst characteristic and all that kind of stuff. But when you do this, the public will tell you, okay? They will actually do it
Yeah.
publicly. You got to get out there. And for example, in my division is 3 of us. So 2 of us are not going to make it. That's just the way
Yep.
this works. And in your case, there's 2 of you. So 1 of you will not make it. So this is going to be a tough road for you. But I'm really glad that we have another journalist getting more involved too, because as you know, we stay on top of the issues. We're looking for the truth, and we do our best to be unbiased on all the issues. And when you do that,
Yes.
Lori, and I'm sure you know this, you ruffle all the feathers because when you're telling the truth, it's usually in the middle somewhere. And a lot
It's
of people
not
get
always
offended by that.
it's not always a welcomed
No, it's a
trait.
thankless
No.
job sometimes, but it's an important, necessary one.
I can say through this process, I'm not a journalist, by the way. I was only a reporter and a columnist. I have a diploma in writing, but I don't have a degree in journalism. It one thing I can say is people are wonderful in our county. I knew that before, and I was nervous to go door to door. I didn't want to feel intrusive, but yeah, people are fantastic. Every single person has been super nice, super welcoming. It's actually been fun. I didn't think I wasn't looking forward to that, but I thought people would be a little negative and stuff, but I haven't run into anything bad yet, so I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah, same experience for us as well. Not a single person said get away. Only
No.
1 person out of about 200 doors so far said, I don't vote, so I'm not interested in talking. But the rest will talk, have a conversation, and all the dogs have been friendly.
Yes.
And they all
Yes.
leave their scent on us for the next dog. Yeah, we haven't had a single issue with any of the dogs out there. Some of them will bark, but they're more bark than bite.
Yeah.
No,
and then Becky. Yeah, Becky, you're acclaimed. So that means you don't have to do all the
Yes.
door knocking, but I think you're just as connected to the community. So, and you went for the school division, and this is Ward 1, I believe you're on. Congratulations. So you're
Thank
you're going to be doing the hard work. You got some commitments to the community. But what caused you to step up in this election to get more involved?
Well, I've been a Drayton Valley and Brassey resident my whole life. So I went through WRSD schooling all the way from, preschool here in Drayton Valley at our little Mickey Mouse play school, Drayton Valley Preschool, and then kindergarten through grade 12. I've done my student teaching, my introductory teaching, like my first 7 years have been here in Drayton Valley. And now I stay home with my children for the most part, but I've been subbing on the front lines for the last 6 years. So my passion lies with education. And I noticed, we had a vacancy within our ward for the last 2 years. There's been an open seat. And I just felt like instead of going back teaching full time, this was a good way to use my skills, all the knowledge I've acquired. I again have a huge passion for education, so it's a good way to get involved and maybe help out with some of the challenges that our division faces.
Yeah, because Becky, you bring an interesting perspective too, because you not only are in the school system as a substitute teacher, but you are actually homeschool as well.
Yes, I am a home ed facilitator. Yeah, I'm a home ed facilitator through Elk Island Catholic Schools, specifically the traditional home education experts is our leading or head board that I facilitate through. And it does give me a unique perspective. I would argue that's kind of if I could bring a focus to Wild Rose, it would be back to basics learning and a home education line, whether it's a blended delivery or just an individual home line. So some flexible
exactly.
learning options.
Because one of the things I've encountered while meeting people, they ask, well, if I'm a homeschooler, why do I have an interest in the public school system? I says, because I'm interested in education. And if I'm working to provide a quality education for my children, I would love that for all.
Yes.
And so I don't think it's a hindrance to be just a homeschooler. I think it's the fact that, no, my job is education, and I would love to ensure that all the students, the children in the area receive that from their school board. And that's why I want to contribute to it as well.
Absolutely. I would strongly agree with that. I feel this, let's say, day and age, there's multiple ways to access learning and education, and brick and mortar schools are starting to become, it's not, home education isn't for everyone, but I do feel that there is an opportunity for many families to enjoy home education. So to keep some of that funding and some of our students in our division, I'd definitely like to expand our educational options.
Yeah, we found Brazeau County and the school divisions very welcoming, and even the community. So there's pods that you guys work with. You go to special events, and people are always concerned about, well, your kids won't socialize. My kids are social. They're very social. Absolutely. Maybe more than most, because they don't just go to one institution. We go all over the place and socialize.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump back to Bart now. So Bart, one of the good things about being an incumbent is you get to talk about successes and things you brought forward, like the tax cuts you mentioned and the early payment reduction. But you also did some work here with the wetlands here in Brazeau. So if you allow me, I'm just going to play this short little 3-minute video because you're also a superstar. You are in this video talking about the wetlands and the project here. So let me go ahead and play this for everybody. Nice logo, by the way.
Yeah.
We have some good audio. It's a beautiful county.
Well, hello there. It's Bart Guillon. I happen to be the Reeve of Brazeau County, and I'm part of a very innovative council that looks to new ideas to further enhance what we do. This is Violet Grove Lagoon here. What we've done is we've taken a look at using nature and trying to enhance nature's ability to actually clean up the fluids that come out of the lagoon. We put in a set of pods that were about 12 feet wide and about 75 feet long. And since then, we've doubled it. The idea came from an FCM conference, and we gathered up some documents and some papers. We filtered it through our staff and our administration, and they believed that it was a worthwhile project to try, along with the support from council. I believe it's the first one that's been done in a cold climate, and it's turned out to be quite successful. We've actually partnered with the University of Alberta, and I believe that the research that they've shown shows that there's an 80% uptake in nutrients, which is really quite a success. This is another solar system that we've had installed, and this solar system not only supplies the energy that's required to pump the aeration pumps, but it actually has a surplus of energy which is sold on the grid, and we use those revenues to actually offset some of the other expenses in regards to this particular facility. These types of ideas, just like we learn from other municipalities, we might be able to show other municipalities some innovative ways using nature to actually clean up their lagoons. The next phase, hopefully, we're working with some engineers, and it could be another series of polishing ponds or even tanks, and then the fluid that comes out of that should be super clean, and then maybe we'll take a look at growing trees, sequestering carbon, and utilizing all of that fluid instead of releasing it into a water body. You know, in today's municipal world, you find a lagoon, you find a stream very close by. And that's because municipalities need to release the amount of fluid they have, all meeting the environmental standards, but we want to take it a step beyond just what the standards are. And ultimately, maybe we can find a way to not dump any fluids at all.
So Bart, congratulations on that. A couple takeaways that I have from that one is You're focused on making sure that it's super clean, which is great, but also demonstrating in cold weather climate how this can be done. So it could become a template for other areas as well. First of all, congratulations on getting that project done and getting that excellence award. How long did that take, and what was your participation in that project?
How long did it take? Well, it took about 6 months. First of all, trying to acquire the pods and things like that. They came out of Australia, and it wasn't that difficult to do it. Our staff there are quite capable of putting the project together, and they're maintaining it as well. So I don't know what you meant by involved. I was involved right from the beginning till the end.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, so it was part of an initiative you were working on. You stayed on top of it. You even did the video. So you had quite a bit of involvement in it. It wasn't something you just voted on and walked away from. You actually contributed to the success of that project. Yeah,
I'm pretty proud, especially when council supports innovation. We did it the last go round. We put in an indoor solar aquatics in Cynthia, and it's a series of tanks inside a building. And it does virtually the same thing, but in a different manner. And it's done through an aerobic process, so it doesn't smell, and there's virtually no setbacks to these facilities. There's millions of acres across Canada that are taken up by lagoons, and if we can adopt more of these technologies, we can reduce the amount of land that's taken for wastewater.
Well, congratulations. And there's other successful projects, but I want to highlight that one because we had a nice little video to explain it to everybody. And we're certainly going to see more of this kind of thing in the future with Brazeau County Council. Lori, so if you and I or one of us gets on that board or in that council, we're going to be new. Okay, there's going to be some new faces there. Definitely a new face in Division 4. So how are you preparing yourself to get ready to start right away on day one? Because the results will come in on the 24th, and there's some important dates to get involved with the council, to orientation, get up to speed. But are you doing anything at this stage to kind of get ready to take a seat on that council?
I think, well, attending council meetings and reading up, doing a lot of research. I also have 5 years experience on the Municipal Planning Commission, so that really helps me with the Municipal Government Act and whatnot. So yeah, a lot of research and talking.
Excellent. And when you're door knocking, that's also going to help prepare you too, because you'll learn what people need and what people are concerned about. So I think door knocking is another good avenue to get yourself ready to run on the first day, because that's going to be important. Because every election, and Bart knows this, because the council is going to change. There's definitely going to be at least one new face on that council, maybe more. So he also has to adjust and get to know everybody and get ready to get back to work. So hopefully new councils that go in there, councilors that go in there are ready to get going. It's not going to take a long time to get up to speed. So council meetings, you were part of the municipal, would you say the municipal board already?
Municipal Planning Commission.
Great. And that was a good way to get started. Becky, what have you done to get ready to go and get started on the school division?
I've been attending every school board meeting since last October. So I've been at every school board meeting, whether it be in Rocky Mountain House or Drayton Valley, for the last year. And I've, again, same as Lori, kind of done my homework. I keep up to date with the new policies that are coming out, top-down mandates from our government. There's a fair play in sports policy that's being discussed, as well as the opt-in, opt-out policy that's being discussed. And of course, keeping up on the differences in home education and public education, being on the front lines subbing as well. Last year I did quite a bit in Evergreen Elementary and Frank Maddock, and I would say my main part being in Frank Maddock. But my daughter as well, she attended kindergarten, part-time kindergarten at Evergreen, and did a lot of volunteering with that. So I got to see exactly what our elementary schools are going through, spent some time in the junior high and quite a bit of time in the high school. So I try to keep open lines of communication with the teachers and support staff and administrations, and see what the real needs are, as well as communicating with parents. I like to chit chat, so it's nice to visit with them and see from a parent standpoint how we can be making the experience and the learning journey better for our students.
Yeah, I did that as well. I took the initiative to speak to the principals of the Breton elementary and high schools because I don't want to presume that the needs that they have or what they would want from a trustee, and basically run on that. I wanted to hear from them directly to find out what can we do for you, what would you want from me, and how can I best advocate and represent you. So I think, yeah, doing your due diligence on what are the needs directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak, instead of making the presumption that this is what I'm going to do for you. No, you tell me what you want me to do. The best approach. And I think, Laurie, would you be saying you're doing the same thing? You're trying to find out how can you best represent Division 4 should you be given that opportunity?
Yes, I've already taken a ton of notes of what people have told me. So whether I get in or not, I'll still be presenting them to council because I think not everybody is comfortable coming forward and saying what they think in a council setting. So yeah, I have made that commitment that whether I get in or not, the issues that have been brought up to me will be presented to council.
Excellent. And I've done the same thing too in our meeting yesterday. Whether I get in or not, I have a nice list of things and regular. We'll go back to the community and go back to the council and kind of do this relay of representation, even if I don't get in there. Because I would want to hold.
That's important.
Yeah, because that's definitely going to keep us connected to community on top of things and still be advocates for our neighbors, even if we don't have one of the seats on council. We can have one of the seats on the public side of things and still be very effective. So Bart, you're definitely going to have at least one new face, maybe more. And each time we take a look at the council, there's at least one new face or maybe more. So how do you, as Reeve, assuming you get on this next one as well, how do you get ready to kind of get everything up to speed and get council back into the effective and efficient mode when you have some new people there?
Well, patience, I guess, is the one word we need to deal with. So it's interesting to say the least, because I've seen a revolving sort of a process where people come in, they kind of seek to learn, they try to get up to speed quick. They're going to make mistakes just like I did, and you just wait for that and opportunities to educate them where you can, show them the ropes and conventions and things like that, so that they can capitalize on the opportunities to learn stuff. So I guess that's about it. But patience is definitely a trait you need.
Do you offer any mentorship? Do you sit down one-on-one outside council meetings, assist, bringing them up to speed? Is that some of the things that you would do?
We don't sit too much. It's usually on the fly, and certainly we do that when we're in conventions and things like that. We have an opportunity to be a little freer, to walk around, talk to people. I can introduce them to a lot of ministers and people that I've met, and help to carry the momentum forward. Relationships are critical with your council and with the people that actually do the major funding. And so I've always tried to build relationships with the ministers, the premier, and whoever else I can work with. I attend their functions, show that I support them, and it seems like it helps to get a certain project. We just got a major multi-million-dollar project announced by Devin Dreeshen and our NMLA Boychenko to upgrade Highway 621. That's taken 10 years of discussions or more. But you got to have the ability to get that door open and bring your staff along and your other colleagues, so that they can all help support the ideas that we're trying to lobby for. That one was a highway project, but we've done it before on wastewater. And once you can build a relationship with them, you develop a bit of trust, and that seems to go a long ways.
Now, speaking of relationships, there's some neighboring municipalities. So the town of Drayton itself, it has its own municipal board, Breton, and then we have our neighbor counties as well. How do you navigate those relationships after an election? Because some of those people will change as well.
Humor helps. I just think you treat people the way you want to be treated. Walk a mile in another man's shoes. Try to see where they're coming from. And for the most part, we've had a pretty good relationship with the town. We had one issue on recreation funding, but other than that, we partner on so many things with them that you're joined at the hip. You have to get along.
Excellent. Well, that's some good advice for those of us who are trying to be on council for the first time. So, like me and Lori, relationships are important. It's very clear from Bart, and sometimes you're going to have to pull out some humor and get these things done. How do you feel about that? Do you feel ready and comfortable that you're going to be able to meet with your counterparts, the other councillors, and expand that relationship circle to include our neighbors, our ministers, our MLAs, our MPs?
I'm really comfortable with going forward on that. I don't have a problem with that. And I'm also, although we're rookies at the job per se, I'm eager to learn. I think that, and talking to people, actually listening to people is key. I think we can learn a lot from people, especially those with the experience behind them. I think
As Judge Judy says, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason. Use them, right? For sure.
Yes.
And I also think, it's also important to work with other boards and stuff like that. So there's going to be a relationship between the county and Wildrose School Division. So Becky, how would you navigate that particular relationship?
I think I try to do my best already. I'm in the fortunate position where I know our current council. I know half of them personally or have interacted with them along the way, and I enjoy conversations. Bart always has me laughing and giggling. We had the opportunity to sit as judges on 4-H together. We've done some other presentations around the community together already. And same with some of the other candidates, whether it be Reeve or just division candidates. The town council as well. All of our schools within Ward 1 fall within Drayton Valley town limits. So there's got to be a relationship there as well. And then same thing with the town councillors. I laughed. I was like, wow, I feel like all my friends are running for town council this year. So it's been it's a good thing to keep positive, keep relationships, but as well keep in mind of the job that you're there to do.
Do you have a large barbecue so we can have a large barbecue there?
Yeah, I do. I'm lucky we've got a great property, so barbecues and fires might become a thing.
All right. Well, you're acclaimed, so you're in. So that's going to be a thing. We're going to wait for Becky's barbecue and get ready for that. So Bart, we've talked about council, new councillors coming in, getting stuff ready. The public. So as I'm listening to the meetings, going back to catch up and be abreast of what's going on, public's very active. So they show up and come to the meetings and have conversations with you. How do you navigate that? Because sometimes humor goes a long way, but sometimes fixing potholes does as well. So how do you handle the public interaction?
Well, you give them a good listening to is first and foremost, so that you try to figure out where they're coming from and why they may have an issue. Sometimes it's just things that have been left out. So we did something years ago. We created this public input session that people can come in at any time and bring issues forward. So it really opens the door for transparency. They can come in, they can express themselves. I always say, if you got an issue, that's great. But what would be better to hear is what solution do you think we should have to fix the problem? So that gives them the opportunity to think about what they're doing, because I'm going to ask them, what's the solution? And sometimes they come up with creative ideas, and sometimes we have to do a little research for them and then get back to them. But we try not to be too reactionary when we open the floor up, because people can bring forward ideas and issues, but we have to do some background checking as well. And so usually we don't deal with those right away, but at least we can start the process. And because of that, we've had less and less people showing up at the in public, because we were a needy municipality, and in 1988 when we were created, we were kind of left out. We were like that red-headed stepson that was kicked out of the will. That's sort of an idea, and we just had to address so many things. We had 2 miles of pavement, and people complaining about the roads. Now 10 years later, 20 years later, we got like 200 miles of pavement in our county now, and that's helping to solve a lot of issues, road issues, dust issues, animal health issues, people health issues, and And so it's helped a lot. So we're getting less and less as we move the infrastructure forward. And we've done it at an accelerated rate just to play catch up for all the years where we got nothing. My dad used to say there's a 48-inch pipeline of cash going into the legislature and a garden hose trickling back to Brazeau. So we've been pretty effective in trying to get some resources back. There's something like $1 billion that's left this area with income tax and oil revenue and stumpage fees and all those things. And we've used that to try to explain to the ministers that we're a source of revenue for the whole province.
Fantastic answer. And maybe that needs to be a fire hose, and then we'll make it even larger. Get some of that back. So Lori, as we're wrapping up here, because we all have to get back to our door knocking, how do you handle criticism? Because naysayers absolutely will voice their opinions, and they'll use that public input to do so. Bart and I witnessed this at our meeting just the other day. All four of us up there got somebody that wasn't pleased with us in one way, shape, or form. So how do you handle the naysayers and the criticism? Because Bart, he was a listener and he kind of joked with them and actually gave a good answer to some of the criticism. But how would you handle
it? Excuse me. I like to listen to what the issues are and get to the heart of the actual problem. And I think you can do that through humor and just simply asking straight up questions. Just, why are you thinking this way? What can we do? And I think when people have an opportunity to speak what's on their mind, I think that solves half the issue. And then work with them on creating a solution that'll work for both of you. But you have to talk and you have to listen. I'm not adverse to criticism at all. You know what it's like, Jason, as anytime you write a word, you open yourself up to constant criticism, and I think you can learn from it, and I think you get a little bit of a tougher skin.
Yeah, for sure. The tough skin, you grow it for sure. So part therapist and part problem solver is how you can address some of this.
I don't know if anyone would think I'm a therapist.
Well, when you let people, when people speak, it's sometimes therapeutic for them to kind of get the issue out. Then you can flush it out with them. So there's a little bit of therapy
sometimes they're just not. They can't pinpoint the issue. They're upset about something, but they can't pinpoint the issue. So I think it's our responsibility to help them out with that.
Now, Becky, you're getting into a hot pot because when it comes to parents and children, this is where a lot of people will voice their concern. When you're talking about their children and what's going on with their children, some people don't even hold back. So you're definitely going to get into the hot pot there. Have you had some of that yet? Have you had some people upset with the strike, the way ideology has creeped into the programming and stuff like that? Have you already seen some of this?
Yeah, honestly, I found myself in on the fence position the last few weeks because of the strike specifically, and both coming into being a school board trustee and being a home ed facilitator, my phone has not stopped ringing or texting or messaging on Facebook, which I welcome with open arms because I strongly feel like I am here to represent parents and students and teachers and EAs and support staff and our whole community regarding education. So I do feel like, as Lori and Bart has said, listening is the best thing I can do, and then using that to take it to the table. And I often make the joke that I have a lot of friends, and although I'm so looking forward to working with my school board trustee colleagues, there are some tough conversations that are going to need to be had. Yes. And I know that it's like a big family in a sense. You're all not going to agree on the same thing. You're not probably going to have the same perspectives on things, but you have to work together to move forward in a positive direction that's the best for the community.
Excellent. That's great.
Yeah.
So Bart, we're going to wrap up here now. Do you have any final comments for Brazeau County as you go door knocking and get the message out? And are we going to see you at Becky's barbecue?
Well, if I get in, or if I don't get in, I'll have to go there because I'll be starving. So I'm definitely going to the barbecue if I lose. So I don't know about final words. It's an ongoing thing, and I like the fact that I was raised farming because we're forced to change and adapt to the ever-changing environment, and that's what we have to do in council and stuff. The political climate is always changing. The situation, it's like a whack-a-mole kind of thing. You whack one down, and 2 minutes later another one comes up, and you got to bang that one on the head, and it just doesn't stop. I thought, after a number of years that we progressed enough that we didn't have always these issues. But like I said, from the oil crisis to the COVID to the fires to the Trump and Trudeau tariffs, there's always something on the horizon that's trying to whack us on the head. So you got to just stay vigilant, pay attention to what's going on, walk a mile in another man's shoes. And we adapted a thing called the citizen first philosophy, and really think about that as if it's not good for our citizens, I'm just not interested in doing it. So I'm always thinking about the citizens and the people, and really put yourself in their shoes. Right now there's a lot of people that, have to choose between mortgage payments and feeding their family. So we've got to think about the financial resources that we have the ability to mobilize jobs and mobilize people so that we can help more and more people as we move along. That's it.
Thanks very much for that part. No, I appreciate that a lot. And hopefully they're bigger shoes, because if you have tight shoes on, those hurt even when you're doing that walk a mile. Lori, are you prepared to give your final comments to Division 4 as we make our push to the election on Monday?
I think I only have a few more places to go, but I have to say a huge thank you to Division 4 because they are really incredible people. Everyone's been so kind and made this application process so much easier. And to you guys, good luck to those of us waiting for election results. And Becky, I wish you all the best.
Thank you for your time this morning, Lori. Appreciate it. Now, Becky, a barbecue it's kind of, it looks like we have a lot of guests coming. We might be having Starving Bart there too. So I hope you got a lot of food. But no, I'm really pleased to meet you. It's glad to hear that a homeschooler, an educator is going to involved, is acclaimed, is going to be in there. And I hope you have another friend that joins you as well, because we're fighting hard for the school division as well.
Yeah.
So any final comments for Ward 1, and what can they expect from you starting the second day after the election?
Yeah, just that it's an honor and a pleasure just being, like I said, a long time. My whole life I've been in Drayton Valley and Brazeau County, and I feel honored to represent our community at the education front. And I look forward to making some positive changes for our students, getting kind of back to basics education and working forward on a path that works for everybody. And yeah, I might have to look into maybe adding a few more stools around my fire, I guess, for over the next coming bit. So I do want to wish all of you candidates as well. I love democracy, but I got to say it's pretty nice not having to be stressed these last few weeks. So I very much support each one of you guys, and good luck on the rest of your campaign.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And to everybody watching from outside of Brazeau County, you got 5 more reasons to come and check us out. Yeah. It's a great place to live. And Bart's going to make that little hose turn into a fire hose and a bigger hose.
Yeah. But it's also a reminder, vote for everyone in Alberta. Yes. Come Monday, October 20th. Vote for your reeve, vote for your counselor, vote for your school trustee if available. Vote. This is your time to speak up, stand up, and have a say for your community. It's important.
Thank you 3 for joining us this morning, and back to the door knocking, except for Becky. She's got to get the barbecue ready. Well, thank you, Bart. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Becky. And to everybody watching, you guys have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll cross paths soon. Have a good one.
Take the rest of the day off.
Nope. We got doors to knock. No day off. Tuesday. We'll take it off.
Tuesday. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That brings a lot of optimism to me, frankly, because I like how Bart was talking about, working with new counselors, getting things up to speed. People make mistakes, have some patience. That's good, because someone like Lori and myself would be a new time.
Yeah.
And every counselor starts fresh at some point in their career. So this is a process everybody has to go through. So whether you support the incumbent or not, Bart provides an open door, and will provide some mentorship and also some communication and relationship building. along the way as well. So I think Brazeau County is in good shape, and I think some fresh faces on there might assist with opening that little hose into a fire hose.
Yeah,
and maybe
and just shows that people do want to step up. The fact there are so many candidates running in the different divisions, even for the school board trustee. This shows that people do want to step up and try and make change and add to and help their communities. I think it's important.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump over to our members area. And if Becky and Lori stick around, we'll bring them back up and have some words with our private collection of good
if you want
people.
to say, if you want to, so Becky and Lori in the green room, if you want to come back, so we're going to do our little ending, but we'll be back. You're welcome to pop on the screen as well and say hi or just sign off.
Yeah. So the most important thing I hope you take away from this, regardless where you are, is vote. Whether you're part of the Alberta municipal elections on the 20th or you have other elections coming in the future for yourself, get out there and vote. Picking a candidate, researching candidate, getting behind and supporting one that has your values, that shares your morals, and absolutely is bringing representation forward. Help them get in there, and you may see great change in your communities.
Yep. Otherwise, everyone have a fantastic day. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Love you all very much, and God bless.